recording?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Streaming now. Should be live.
And we're back, hopefully, if everything is working. Thank you to everyone who came, and I'm really excited to go into our next episode. So, this is going to be the first appearance of Talia Al Ghul, and I would like it very much to introduce themselves again for who's voicing who in this episode, especially our lovely Talia, who I've been crazy because as Selena's voice, this is my rival.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be so much fun. All right, go ahead, you guys.
Alright, start from the top.
Hello, my name is Adam. I'm going to be playing guard number 1.
Hello, I'm Josh, otherwise known as Articulate T. I'm going to be playing White Ghost.
Hi, I'm Dylan, known as Night Kiwi on Twitter and other media, and I'm going to be playing Alfred.
My name is Cade, and I will be playing the newly named character that I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't know how to pronounce June's new name.
It's just
Or-
I Ching, right?
I Ching? Is that how it's
Xiang.
pronounced? Lovely. Just as I was starting to learn his first one. That's who I'll be playing. Go, Carl.
Hi, my name is Carl, and I'm Daddy Bat Doo 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 Doo.
Hi, I'm Grant, also known as Jack Ryan, and I'm playing David Kane.
Hi, my name is James. In this episode, I will be voicing the illustrious and most certainly recurring guard number 3.
Hi, I'm Jazzy, and I'm voicing the renowned role of fucking no one.
Hi, my name is Kelsey. I am Kelatonin on social media, and I am I am voicing Talia Al Ghul.
And then I think we skip straight to Yoshi.
Hi, I'm Yoshi. I'm going to be doing the line of broker. It'll be fun.
Hello there. I'm Sword of Destiny, and I will be reprising my role as the narrator.
Hi, I'm Alan. My voice is kind of screwed, but I am guard number 2.
I think that's everybody.
It sure
That is everybody. So, this episode is also remarkable for another one because up until now, the episodes have all been pretty much original stuff with some minor.
I just got a comment that the Twitch stream is a bit quiet.
Oh, can we make it a little bit louder?
I turned up, don't worry.
Okay,
Continue.
cool. So this one's a little unique. Up to now, they've been mostly original, with a little bit of inspirations, obviously, from many different comics. This is the first one where I actually adapted 2 storylines into one. And the 2 stories I adapted are I Hate It When He Does That by Joshua Williamson and Into the Den of the Death Dealers by Dennis O'Neil, also known as Denny O'Neil. The guy who created Talia and Raish and a whole bunch of characters you love and didn't even know. So, yep. Here we go for my first adapted and not original script. Let's see how it comes out. Whenever you're ready, Chris, you can take it from me.
Alrighty. If I could say Batman, not Bathman.
I mean, I could always change the symbol, you know. It's like
Anyway, Batman, Athenaeum, whatever we're calling it. Episode 12, The Station, by Lucia Lobos Villa, based on the works of Bill Finger and Bob Kane, adapted from I Hate It When He Does That by Joshua Williamson, and Into the Den of the Death Dealers by Denny O'Neil. Interior, Gotham, Wayne Manor. Alfred sits by the windowsill, sipping tea, as he always does.
In 1923, an Akita dog was born in Japan. His name was Hachiko. His story is a remarkable one. Every evening, Hachiko waited at the train station for his master to return from work. Despite the physical abuse he received from other passengers, Hachiko still arrived on time every day. even after his master stopped arriving.
A car pulls up in front of the manor, coming up the driveway. Alfred sets down his tea cup, irate.
Oh, no, you don't.
Exterior, Wayne Manor, front entrance. A sharply dressed man in a suit steps out of the car. Alfred comes out.
Hello, sir. I've tried calling, but you are a hard man to get a hold of. You must be the interim deed holder. I'd like to come inside and discuss some potential options.
Alfred fires several rounds into the air. The broker yipes and runs back inside the car,
Ah!
quickly peeling out of the driveway.
And don't come back!
Alfred nods. A job well done. And then goes back inside.
Hachiko diligently kept up his work routine for nearly 10 years until he drew his final breath. He had no way of knowing his master returned or had died and would never return again. So, how does that leave me?
Exterior, Egypt. Cairo International Airport. Bruce and David Kane exit the airport. Bruce stretches, carrying his duffel bag along with him, following after David Kane. Kane measures himself up to Bruce, grinning.
Is it just me, or do you get taller?
Egypt? I thought we were going back to the League of Shadows.
We are.
Kane busies himself exchanging some cash for some food from a street vendor.
Aren't they in Saudi Arabia?
They're shadows, Bruce. They are everywhere at all times, and yet cannot be found except by those who know where to look.
So, multiple rotating bases then. Got it.
Kane hands Bruce some meat on a stick.
What's this?
Kofta kebabs.
Got it.
Eat up. We've still got a ways to go.
Right.
Bruce walks along with David Kane, looking exhausted. Exterior, crowded street. Kane and Bruce make their way through packed crowds of people, passing by shops and street vendors along the way.
You asleep back there? Last I saw, you were still a cocksure brat. You're gonna jump headfirst into trouble. I can understand Dark's training making you humble but slow.
I'm fine. I just got a lot on my mind.
Yeah? We got time. Why don't you share with the class?
It's nothing. Specifically, I mean, vague feelings. I was in Nanda Parbat for 6 years. The whole time, the only thing that kept me going was my own sense of self-preservation. I didn't have time to think about the future, and so I never worried about it. It's sort of like living in a time warp. You're growing and improving, and yet the whole world seems to have stopped. But now that I'm finally back out, I don't know. I don't know what to do with myself. I have all these skills, and I never could have imagined before, but what do I do with them? What direction do I even walk in? Will I figure it out once I've had my time to reacclimate to the world?
You're getting stuck inside your own head. Ra's al Ghul will give you purpose.
Maybe.
Kane stops to look at one of the street vendors, lifting some whole uncooked animal and examining it. Bruce hesitates, then finally forces himself to say what's on his mind.
Honestly, since we left Nanda Parbat, all I've been thinking about is Gotham.
Kane drops the animal and turns to Bruce, alarmed.
Not yet. Not until you've seen and learned all you need.
Bruce blinks, surprised by Kane's reaction.
I've already seen more than most people my age. More than I'd like, to be frank.
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm 23 years old now. I had to do the math on the plane. Like, I lost count because we never celebrated birthdays in Nanda Parbat. And yet, even after all that, the moment I left the temple of Ramakrishna, it's like a spell was broken. I can't stop thinking about my parents. I thought I was done grieving, but it's worse more than ever.
Bruce is starting to get emotional. Kane grabs his shoulder to shake him.
Shake it off, kid. You've already had this talk. Years ago. We're not having it again. You agreed to leave it all behind. You can't let some stupid deal you made as a kid consume.
Bruce gets incensed and shoves Kane's hand off of him.
It isn't just a deal. It's a vow. A promise. And
too much for one man to handle. Listen. You're a smart kid. So I shouldn't have to tell you there's better things in life than crying over some long-dead socialites in Gotham.
You mean my parents?
Bruce is causing a scene. A crowd is forming to watch them. Kane looks around, recognizing that he needs to de-escalate.
If you want to go back to Gotham, you can go. I'll just continue on without.
Stop her! A young woman, about Bruce's age, runs through the crowded streets. She weaves through the crowds expertly and with incredible grace as the men pursuing her shove their way through instead, knocking several people over. This young woman is Talia al Ghul.
Help! Someone, please!
Bruce looks up and starts to go after her. Kane grabs his arm.
It would be best if we didn't get involved.
How can we just watch? She's in trouble.
Kane sighs, but relents, pulling a ninja mask out of his pocket and handing it to Bruce.
Then at least wear this.
Exterior, crowded street. Alleyway. Talia has been cornered in an alleyway by 3 guards.
No more running, child.
We just did this a few days ago, yes? You caught me and I escaped. Doesn't this bore you?
This time will be different. It's for your own protection.
Oh, you're a terrible liar.
Guard 1 frowns.
Take her!
Bruce jumps in suddenly from above, landing on the back of one of the guards.
Leave.
He then tackles another.
Her?
And then fells the leader.
Alone!
Bruce then turns to Talia. She looks at him, intrigued. The guards begin to stir, grimacing. Bruce reaches out and grabs Talia's hand, pulling her out of the alleyway.
Run.
Guard number 2 gets up and points a gun at Bruce. Guard number 1 grabs guard number 2, stopping him.
We can't risk it. White Ghost needs her alive.
Exterior, crowded street. Bruce and Talia run through the streets together, doing all sorts of parkour tricks to get through the crowds.
You've just made them angry, you know?
What'd I do?
The guards struggle to get through the crowd.
Damn crowds. I swear I saw them head through there.
If she escapes, we're dead.
Kane grabs a tourist mat from the stand and opens in front of the guards' faces.
Howdy, fellas. Care to help a lost American find his hotel?
Talia leads Bruce to a fire escape.
Follow me.
She jumps up on the ladder, Bruce following close behind.
Get out of the way, old man.
Kane continues to move to block their path and vision so they can't see where the kids are going.
Well, I'm terribly lost, and would greatly appreciate a point in the right direction.
Damn it, move!
Bruce and Talia make it to the top of the ladder and onto the rooftop of a building. Kane sees that they've made it to safety.
Ha! Never mind. I see where I am now. Sorry to have troubled you, boys.
Kane closes the map. The guards look around in confusion.
They disappeared.
Impossible. Down here.
Guard 2 leads Guard 1 down another alleyway. Exterior, rooftops. Talia and Bruce stop and catch their breaths. Sitting down.
Where did you learn to move like that?
I could ask you the same thing.
Now you first.
Bruce looks over the ledge. He sees the guards running down the alleyway cluelessly.
Most of it was from comic books, mixed up with a bit I picked up from spider monkeys in Central America.
All right then, keep your secrets.
The guards have run out of sight.
Okay, we're safe. Clean getaway.
Thank you, American.
Talia stands, dusting herself off. Bruce turns to look at her, touching his mask.
How did you know?
I can hear it in your voice.
Talia gives him a peck on the cheek. Bruce startles and looks away, embarrassed, checking over the ledge again.
Ah,
That said, I did not need saving.
well, that's not what it looked like to...
Bruce turns back to look at Talia, but she's gone.
Me. Huh. How does she do that?
Interior. A dimly lit office. An albino man known as the White Ghost sits at his table, drinking tea. The blinds are drawn, keeping out the sun. The guards enter.
Commander Braquet, your report?
She got away again, White Ghost.
We almost had her, but
You know what's at stake if you do not catch her, correct? Talia's life is in danger. We must bring her home to her father, or he will have all our heads.
A young American helped her. He wore a mask and moved as if he were one of our own, but his accent gave him away.
The witnesses we interrogated said they saw him traveling with an older American gentleman. He also may have helped her escape.
White Ghost puts his teacup down, displeased, clutching his temples with one hand.
David Kane, no doubt. That man is a perpetual thorn in my side. Put out a warning. The boy is our enemy, wanted dead or alive.
Exterior, nearly empty street, evening. Kane searches through the streets for Bruce. The sun is setting, and the crowds are dispersing.
Bruce? Damn it, where is that boy? Bruce! Ah, Kamazats?
Here, Sifu.
Bruce hurries over to Kane.
You should really learn not to worry about me.
Who is worried? Just don't want us to be late. Now that that's over, should we head back to the League base?
No, we're not leaving until I can meet that girl for a second time.
Bruce touches his cheek dreamily.
She was wearing this amazing perfume, and well, I must find her, Sifu.
Kane looks at Bruce knowingly and shrugs. Exterior, an outdoor cafe, morning. White Ghost sits under the shade, wearing a head wrap to protect himself from the sun. He eats his breakfast and sips his tea, which is refilled by a server, while a guard stands by his table at attention.
Have you apprehended the American boy yet, Braquet?
No sign, White Ghost. We believe he may have left the country.
And Talia?
Close, sir. It's just a question of when. We believe the rebels are staking out the university with intention to intercept her.
Without Talia in our hands, we cannot return to the Master. We never know when our enemies may strike against us. Are you going to disappoint me again?
Of course not, sir. The rebels will be apprehended before the girl can get... The rebels will be apprehended before they can get near the girl.
For your sake, I hope so.
Two servers clear his dishes and then hurry away. Exterior, alleyway. The servers dug into an alleyway and removed their hats and disguises, revealing they were Bruce Wayne and David Kane all along.
What a way to use years of spy training.
Her name is Talia.
It's a lovely name, kid. We've indulged your curiosity long enough. It's time to go.
Didn't you hear them, Sifu? She didn't do anything wrong. She's just caught in the middle of a power struggle between their master and some rebels.
And it'd be best if we didn't get caught between them too.
But that's not what this is about.
What is this about then?
I'd like to see her again.
Bruce slumps. He knows it sounds stupid. Kane sighs, impatient but indulgent.
Fine. I'll help you find her to say goodbye. But that's it. You got that?
Thank you, Sifu.
So, how exactly do you plan to find her before they do?
Well, they mentioned a university, right?
Exterior, University of Cairo, rooftop. Talia squats at the top of the building, keeping herself hidden, staking out the place for safety. Bruce climbs up onto the rooftop behind her, wearing his mask again.
Talia's a pretty name. It mean anything?
Talia stands in surprise.
You! How did you... But... Who are you?
My name is Alfred. And I was hoping... we could talk or something?
So, talk.
Well... I guess...
Oh, for the love of... Go away. You're blowing my cover.
Bruce reaches out and grabs her hand, stopping her.
Wait, you owe me one, remember?
Talia turns to look at him, still holding his hand.
How so?
When we first met, I asked you how you learned your moves, remember? You never answered.
Talia goes for a punch. Bruce blocks.
My father taught me everything.
Really?
They continue to spar.
He's a great man. He gives so much of himself to the world, and yet he's branded a criminal.
Talia grabs Bruce's arm and flips him over her shoulder, sending him falling off the ledge of the building. Bruce catches himself, landing on the ground safely.
Close one.
Talia stands and looks down at him.
American. You've earned one more answer.
Bruce looks up.
My name. It means dew of heaven.
Bruce stands up.
People are after you.
People are always after me. I can't let it stop me from getting an education. Goodbye, Alfred.
Talia walks away. Bruce is smitten.
Dew of heaven. Like sweet ambrosia. The forbidden food of the gods and temptation of every mortal.
Bruce sighs dreamily and walks away. Exterior train station, Soom Express, the next morning. Bruce and Kane have their bags and await the train. The station is crowded early in the morning with commuters.
The Soom Express, the oldest passenger service in the world.
As Kane explains the express they're taking, Bruce spots holding Talia by the arm, pulling her along. She's not struggling, but it's clear she's not going willingly.
How little you comprehend my father's ruthless self-interest.
This relentless cynicism and misanthropy is tiresome in a young woman. Enough.
Bruce looks around. He spots an old woman and walks over to her, offering her money.
A wheezing, coal-burning engine, and 4 termite-ridden cars which pokes along narrow, rusting iron rails. She ain't a beauty, but she gets the job done.
Kane realizes that Bruce is missing and looks around for him.
Bruce? You arrogant brat, where'd you sneak off to now? Bruce!
Forward!
The old woman that Bruce was talking to approaches Kane. She takes his arm.
You can just read it in English I know it says that it's in Mandarin, but we'll figure that out later. So you can just read it in English.
Carl.
Carl, that's you. Put on an old lady voice.
Well, help an old woman on the train?
Kane blinks, but realizes what's happening. He sighs.
Yeah, all right.
Kane helps the old woman onto the train. Interior, Sum Express. The old woman purposely sits behind Talia and Naiching. Kane sits with her.
Have you even once asked yourself why I allowed this abduction to take place?
No. You had no choice in the matter. Your father will pay for the disrespect he has dealt our master, as many men will pay for your company once the master tires of you.
Talia turns to look at Aiching, unafraid, quirking a brow.
Doc would never tire of me. Nor would you. Although you'll never be given the opportunity to verify that.
Dark.
Aiching glances behind himself, having heard that. Kane quickly puts up a newspaper to hide their faces, pretending to read.
As for my father, he and I are barely on speaking terms.
Aiching looks back at Talia.
Are you... What was that look? Are you trying to hypnotize me?
What a curious idea to have. Are you easily influenced? Perhaps it's what they call the eye of the Gorgon, the gaze men fear. And perhaps you'd be wiser to drop me off at the next station.
No. We won't reach the next station.
Iching stands suddenly, grabbing Talia by the wrist.
Come, my dear. Time to depart. It seems we have a dark pursuer. I've prepared a welcome for the occasion.
Jing pulls Talia to the back of the cart and forces her to jump with them. The old woman stands, ripping away the skies to reveal Bruce wearing his black robes and ninja mask.
What are you doing?
Go on without me.
Bruce runs to the back of the train and jumps out after them.
Give me patience. This again?
Kane crumples up his newspaper, throwing it in frustration and crossing his arms. Exterior, an open field. Bruce rolls to catch himself safely and then stands. He sees I Ching and Talia standing there. Talia held rightly in I Ching's grip.
Well, if it isn't Kamazots, your disguise was excellent.
I Chang, let the girl go. It isn't like you to behave so dishonorably.
On the contrary, this is a matter of honor. Our master was disrespected. I will do as he asks to punish those who would dare. I would think one of your loyalty and skill would agree.
Save the compliments, I Chang.
I can afford to be generous with words, for I prepared for the White Ghost's arrival, though I suppose you will do just the same.
I Ching claps, and assassins rise out of the tall grass, wielding hard bamboo poles.
As you can see, you are surrounded by the finest trained assassins on Earth. Escape is hopeless. Resistance, futile. Even for you.
I Ching signals at them. The assassins attack! Bruce fights them as long as he can, but there are just too many of them. They bait him to the ground, and then continue to wail on him with bamboo poles.
Stop! You'll kill him!
One blow cracks Bruce upside the head, and he's knocked out. Interior, a stone prisoner's cell. Bruce slowly comes to, no longer wearing his mask, lying on his back. Talia is caressing his head and gently patting his swollen, bloody face with a washcloth. She periodically dips in a bowl of water.
Where?
You awaken. Oh, thank the gods. I feared your injuries were fatal.
Bruce smiles, enchanted by the sight of her.
Apologies. C-grade rescue. I'll get us out of here. Whatever it takes.
As she caresses his face, he suddenly realizes he's not wearing a mask. Reaching up to touch his own face,
My mask!
he jumps back, away from Talia, standing up in a panic and covering his face with his hand.
I had to remove it. Your face is terribly wounded.
Talia offers him back his mask. Bruce takes it.
You seem familiar. Someone I have seen in a photograph, perhaps? But so bruised are you, I cannot be certain.
Then, you know.
Bruce sighs, putting his mask back on.
Where are we?
In a cell beneath an abandoned Buddhist monastery.
Why are so many people after you?
My father and his business dealings. We cannot choose what family we are born into. My father allowed me to leave home to study medicine at the University of Cairo. Now I fear he will never let me out of his sights again.
Who is your father? These are dangerous people for him to have angered.
Believe me, they should be the ones who are afraid. My father is the dangerous one.
Bruce goes over to the locked door, checking the heavy metal keyhole.
Locked.
Bruce pulls the wrappings off his hand, then bites into a callus on his palm, pulling out a pin embedded within.
How did you...
Bruce starts picking the lock.
A pin embedded in a callus in the palm of my hand. A trick I learned from an old friend. She was very talented at sleight of hand. And strategy games.
She?
Yeah, though she's married now.
Bruce smirks as the door unlocks.
So there's no need to be jealous.
Noted, Alfred.
Bruce stands, offering her his hand. She takes it, and they sneak out through the door. Interior, abandoned Buddhist monastery. Hallway. Bruce and Talia hurry through the stone hallways, twisting and turning, winding corridors and cobblestone steps. They suddenly hear footsteps approaching. Bruce looks around. He spies a window above him. He climbs up and reaches down to pull Talia up, then hides in the sill with her. White Ghost and his men charge by, along with David Kane.
Remember, you may kill the traitor on sight, but no harm must come to Talia.
Or to my pupil.
I can guarantee nothing, Kane. I serve only one master, and he's not you.
Kane is unhappy about this, but continues on. Once they're gone, Bruce hops down, looking after them in confusion.
Sifu? Why would he work with your pursuers?
Talia hops down beside him.
Who's the albino man?
He's known as the White Ghost, loyal servant of...
A lasso suddenly traps Talia around her waist and hoists her up to the window.
Talia!
I Ching is sitting in the sill. He has pulled Talia up into his arms, holding her with her arms pinned to her sides.
It was a pleasure to compete with you once more, Kamazotes. Pity it shall be our last.
I Ching jumps out of the window with Talia, who screams as she's taken. Interior, abandoned Buddhist monastery. Hallway. Further down. White Ghost and David Kane stop, hearing Talia scream. They look at each other knowingly, and then change direction, hurrying towards the scream. Exterior, abandoned Buddhist monastery. Field. Bruce jumps down from the window, landing on the messy grass on the ground below. He looks out and sees I Ching pulling a bound-up Talia towards the train tracks in the distance. He hurries after them.
Give it up, I Ching. There's nowhere to run.
Fool. You were unconscious for almost a full day. The Zoom Express should arrive shortly. Look, not a mile distant.
I Ching points at the train arriving in the distance.
You can't intercept a moving train. Sorry, I had a blank spot. You can't intercept a moving train while warding me off and carrying a struggling hostage. That's too much even for you.
Correct.
I Ching throws a capsule at Bruce's face. It bursts into gas.
Blinding gas. That's a dirty trick.
Perhaps, Kamazotes. Forgive me, but I do not have the time to fight fair. The Sum Express is almost upon us, and I must complete my task. I shall see you again in the next life, my brother. I shall do you the honor of claiming your life with the reforged Soulbreaker.
I Ching looks over at the arriving train, then pulls out Soulbreaker and turns back to Bruce. While he is distracted, Talia manages to pull the gun from I Ching's waistband and jumps back, slipping out of her bonds and pointing the gun at I Ching.
Stand away for him. Taking that again.
It's getting contagious.
Stand away. It is.
These two are made for each other.
Oh my goodness.
Let's move forward. Go on.
Stand away from him or I'll shoot.
I doubt that, my dear. You're far too sweet.
I Ching moves to stab Bruce. Talia shoots I Ching in the knee suddenly. I Ching cries in pain, stumbling back and falling onto the ground, dropping Soulbreaker. Talia runs to Bruce's side, kneeling beside him, pulling the mask away from his eyes and quickly wiping the irritants from his eyes with the damp cloth from earlier.
Is he?
No, not dead. Only injured.
No!
The Sum Express passes by. I Ching reaches out for it, but there's no way he can make the jump with his injured leg. When the train has passed, White Ghost and his men, along with David Kane, stand there, waiting. White Ghost steps forward.
Talia, dear child, enough with your disobedience. There's been a falling out between us and the faction of the League loyal to Master Dark. Your father demands your safe return for your own protection.
Talia stands and looks between the White Ghost and Bruce.
If I go with you, will you spare the American who rescued me? If it were not for him, I Ching would have already had me on that train, out of your reach once more.
You are in no position to negotiate. When the demon's head orders your return, you do as you are told.
What?
Talia looks at Bruce sadly.
I meant to tell you, my father is the head of the demon, Ra's al Ghul.
David Kane walks over and helps Bruce up.
A deal's a deal. Oh shit! Whoops.
Yeah, we've got our regular.
You've got
regular-
two.
Archer!
Oh no!
I'm hearing double for David Kane.
You keep talking, Deathstroke. Keep doing it. Just keep doing it. It's fine.
No, it wasn't Deathstroke who did it. Funnily enough, it's someone named Grant, like Deathstroke's first son.
Oh no!
Well, that part I didn't know.
Oh shit! I fucked it up. I'm sorry.
Okay, now both of you need a fight. Both of you need a fight to the death for the
Right now.
to the
Let's
witness
go.
right now.
No. Well, I got news for you. I'm a weakling.
Knowing Grant for a decade almost, I can concur.
Oh, no.
I love
I'll
you,
let him
Grant.
keep going for the sake of continuity. Keep going, Grant. You got it.
You got it, Grant.
David
The
Kane
wheels
walks.
deal, White Ghost.
Weakness wins.
What?
I said a deal's a deal, White Ghost.
White Ghost glances at David Kane distastefully.
I have agreed to overlook the earlier inconvenience he caused us.
White Ghost turns to I Ching, who is being held on his knees by the guard.
For you, on the other hand, I Ching, there will be no such mercy. Divest him of his life.
I Ching looks up at them in terror.
What? No words of remorse? No pleas for mercy?
It will make no difference. The White Ghost's judgment is absolute. Do as you will.
He takes it with honor and dignity. In that case, he may live. But for looking upon Lady Talia so covetously, there must be punishment. Burst his eyes.
The guards surround I Ching. He gives off a blood-curdling scream. White Ghost puts out a hand for Talia.
Come now. It is time to go home.
Talia looks back at Bruce longingly.
Goodbye, beloved.
Talia takes White Ghost's hand and they turn to leave. Bruce watches them and then suddenly calls after her.
You've deserved a better answer from me, too.
Talia stops and looks back at him.
My name is Bruce.
I know.
Bruce blushes. He looks away embarrassed, then turns to say something else, but they're all gone.
How? I need to learn how they do that.
That's all practice. And you'll get plenty of it with the League. Let's go.
No, I don't think so.
What?
You knew, didn't you? This whole time you knew who she was and what was going on.
I knew the Demon's Head had a daughter. I never actually met her.
But you knew who White Ghost is and who he serves.
I know you're out of line. Don't forget. We both serve the same master.
I serve no master. Not anymore. Not ever again. Talia was nearly killed because of the ego-fueled conflicts of power-hungry old men. I had no business getting involved. Shiva was right. I don't understand this world. I'm going home.
No, you're not!
Kane punches Bruce hard across the face.
I put my neck on the line for you. Is this how you repay me? I vouched for you! Wasted years training you.
Kane goes to punch Bruce again, but Bruce catches his fist.
And now I've surpassed you. That's why you were so pleased I defeated Deathstroke, isn't it? You never could. I'm leaving. But I won't leave you high and dry. I wasn't the one who defeated Deathstroke. I wouldn't have stood a chance against him. It was Lady Shiva.
Kane drops his fist. In shock.
The woman?
If you need a new bodyguard to present to Ra's al Ghul, she has no equal. Her niece has gone missing. Deathstroke claimed the League took her from him. Help Shiva find her lost niece, and I'm certain she will do anything for you.
Bruce bends down, picking up Soulbreaker. Bruce then looks at it, then looks away, at the horizon, taking a deep breath.
Thank you, Sifu, for an incredible adventure. I'm just not a killer. I hope returning Soulbreaker will also help you stay in Ra's al Ghul's good graces.
Bruce hands Soulbreaker to Kane, who takes it.
But as for me, I think it's time I went home.
Bruce walks away. Kane watches after him, muttering to himself.
Lady Shiva.
Interior, Gotham, Wayne Manor. Alfred sits by the windowsill, sipping tea, as he always does. A car pulls up in front of the manor, coming up the driveway. Alfred slams his teacup down, irate.
Oh, the hell.
Exterior, Wayne Manor, front entrance. Alfred comes out, wielding a shotgun.
I already told the bloody bank I won't bloody sell. Not to them, not to an independent broker, not to anyone. Wayne Manor is not yours to have.
Bruce steps out of the car, wearing a suit and sunglasses. He removes the sunglasses as he sees Alfred.
Are you sure about that?
Alfred's eyes widen like saucers. His hands holding the shotgun begin trembling.
Bruce, am I breathing? Am I dreaming?
Bruce smiles and walks closer, gently taking the shotgun from Alfred's hands and setting it down against the wall.
Not today, Alfred.
Alfred suddenly throws his arms around Bruce, embracing him, tears springing in his eyes.
You're alive!
Bruce is shocked and gently removes Alfred from him, somewhat awkwardly.
Not for long if I don't get something to eat.
Yes, of course. Come. I'll put on some tea.
Alfred ushers Bruce inside.
The story of Hachiko has been adapted into media several times. Not all have preserved that tragic true ending. Perhaps it speaks to our desire to have fiction be kinder. More than just truth. But, every so often, however rare, truth is stranger than fiction.
End.
And that's a wrap for tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Yay!
Let's go.
My vocal cords are free.
Really quick before the
Hooray!
I want to do my download I do after the live reads with all of you guys. But for everyone watching, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our comeback. And we'll be back hopefully next week with 2 more episodes with Bruce's return to Gotham and his reunion with Harvey, where if you've been following and you saw how they split as besties before Bruce left, that's going to be dramatic drama.
It's gonna be
So-
spicy.
Yep. We're also going to be seeing Nigma. We're going to be seeing, well, he's not Nigma yet, but Nashton. We're going to be seeing Kid Barbara. We're going to be seeing the return of some other favorites. So, and the appearance of Penguin. So if you're a fan of Penguin, tune in next week. So,
Pat.
yeah, not to mention the greatest mobster in Gotham,
Carmen
Falcone. Yep.
Yeah.
So I hope we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us. And until then, just have a good time, guys. It's hard. Life is hard out there. I don't even have a sign off. Like, I'm just tired. Thank you for coming.
Bye, everyone!
Bye.
Bye.